I'm still right next to the Floyd turnoff. This is the old highway that would take you from Salt Lake City to Denver, and obviously past Moab, Arches, Canyonlands. Before the freeways, this would have been a 2-lane highway that would take you out, and makes you wonder how many people were on vacation on this road back in the 1950s. Kind of forgotten now that the freeway spins past it.
I knew I would be off pavement for a while, and sand traps could be a concern, so I aired down my tires to 16 psi. It's a good level to absorb some trail bumps and provide some good sand traction. The road to the OHV open ride area was well maintained and plenty of RV vacationers were out. But before heading down ourselves, we take a side road out to the first curiosity of the trip.
This is it. I was like, I gotta do one more trip before the season turns and it gets cold out there. Go camping one more time. And that's what we're doing. Coming out, I need to see some red rock, I need to see some slick rock, and we're coming out to see what we can see. The area we are in is in the kind of northern area above Canyonlands. I always just call it the greater Canyonlands area because it's all very similar to Island in the Sky and that type of stuff. And we're going to go to places I have never been before and see how it works out. Unfortunately, the area north of Canyonlands is actually got quite a lot of oil wells and oil processing, collecting, stuff like that. Every now and then you can see methane burns when they're burning off all the natural gas because Utah passed a law so they don't have to capture it anymore, they just burn it. One of the few benefits of having oil rigs drilling out here is they maintain the roads pretty well because they need to get semi-traffic back here. So these roads are always graded, usually have treatments to keep the dust down, stuff like that. It's not crazy off-roading because you got to get a tractor trailer down here. So if you're ever in an area where you know that there's oil drilling going on, you pretty much know that you'll be able to drive just about any vehicle down it. I keep seeing people here with their RV trailers and stuff like that, so you know it's not going to be too crazy because with the oil wells, when they're first being drilled, they got to get all the fracking equipment out there for one thing, which is a whole bunch of semi-trailers and equipment basically. And then a lot of these afterwards, if they're not hooked up to this distribution pipeline that lays on the surface, then they have to have semis go back regularly to drain the tanks and haul the oil to a distribution area where it can be shipped out, or just haul it all the way out. But yeah, when you're out in these drilling areas, it's not uncommon to see semis driving by. This, get your f***ing car out of the road. Got a bike up here. I think some people are... What the fuck?
If you're going to park your SUV and walk because the trail is getting too difficult for you, please don't park in the middle of the trail.
Ugh. What happened to the road here? So anyway, we're going down this oil drilling area, and it's actually a very old drilling area because they drilled some wells out here a long time ago and they punctured their way into a... Sorry, I gotta keep looking at my map to figure out where we're going to the right place. Yeah, there was some old drilling out here and it created a thing that's called Crystal Geyser. It's a man-made cold water geyser because it tapped into an aquifer that is carbonated. It basically bubbles up every now and then and squirts water. But I believe there's some other... They're not full-on geysers, but they are bubbling springs that are from basically the same time period when they were digging into the aquifer here. So we're going to see if we can find these springs and see what they look like.
Not many people know of our first stop. There's not even a pull-off, so we'll pull as much out of the way as possible so that traffic can still get around, unlike that SUV in the middle of the road earlier.
So I had this marked as a spring on my map, just a little bit off the road, a little bit of a walk down this wash. And you can see all the mineral deposit up here, and I think I can see bubbling water at the top. I think this is a bubbling spring.
Kind of worried I don't want to crack through any crust. I've been to Yellowstone too many times that I'm like, oh, it's a hot springs and you break through and burn to death. But I believe this spring is probably man-made when they were drilling oil wells, and this one went so deep it went into a carbonated water aquifer down below. It's cold. It tastes right. Not salty, it's almost sweet actually. Here's where it all runs off. Look how it's just, the minerals are slowly enveloping these dead plants. Those plants, I mean, look at these things. That looks like something not of this earth. They're obviously some type of specialized plant that can live in high chemical content water. I wonder if it's saline or alkaline or whatever. But those look like alien plants. That's amazing. Very interesting. All just growing around the rim of this little mineral bubbling spring. And here you can kind of see the mineral crust that's being eaten away by probably the runoff water from normal rains. And up there, like a little volcano. That bubbling spring. Very interesting. There's supposed to be a couple more of these. Let's go see if we can see some more.
Some of the most annoying obstacles are also some of the smallest. These little drain channels are just big enough to grab a tire and smash your suspension if you're going too fast. They're not complicated, just slowly drive through. They're like nature speed bumps to keep you from driving too recklessly. The map took us to a trail that didn't look like it had seen many full-size trucks. But even big vehicles are surprisingly nimble if you swing the steering wheel from full left to full right. While this doesn't seem like a vehicle trail and just a small wash, I did double check it while planning my route. I just didn't expect it to be this narrow and rarely traveled.
This spring actually was listed on maps as bubbling spring, whereas the other one wasn't even on maps. I just kind of found that. Oh yeah, this has got some good bubbling going on. Like the other one, bubbles a lot, but there's not a lot of water coming off of it. Obviously, it's more carbonation bubbling off rather than an actual water flow coming out. There's some other footsteps here. I'm just kind of inching ahead to make sure I don't crack through. I can kind of see into the water at angles down, so I think I'm safe. The water, it's hard to see through the water without a polarizer, but I don't know if you can notice that some of the bubbles seem like they're coming out of that rock. I wonder if that rock is deposited from the carbonation coming up. This one's really fizzing compared to the other one. Looks like the ATVers have been driving around. I'm not sure if you can see these tire tracks looping around it, so that gives you an idea of how much weight can be sustained here. It's not quite as bad as going off trail in Yellowstone and being afraid you're going to fall in. But let's check this water temp. Oh, that's cold. Well, cool. It's definitely not a hot spring. Not quite the Red Rock area down by Canyonlands. This area reminds me a lot more of the area east of Capitol Reef. There's been a lot of colorful hills and these layer cake formations. Interesting.
The excess of white minerals makes me think we're close to our next goal. This whole area is covered in white mineral deposits. It's actually the true reason the La Salle Mountains were given their name.
but where a mineral spring comes to the surface, it's particularly white.
I think there's another weird spring over here. I see a lot of kind of rusty gold mineral looking stuff. Tell from the sand around here that it's certainly an area that has got a lot of mineral content coming up to the ground. Looks like salt everywhere, but I don't think it's a sodium chloride salt like we would put on our tables. This might be another different type of salt. Yeah, this one has like terracing to it. I can see some, it looks like some liquid water in the center, so it is still an active spring. Yeah, not running off right now, but look at these terraces. Kind of like the Mammoth area of Yellowstone.
These terrace springs aren't red from thermophile bacteria like Yellowstone. The water is cold here, and the color likely comes from oxidation of iron-based minerals coming to the surface, similar to mine runoff.
Like the remains of the dry terraces, once they kind of dry up, gets this little film and they just tinkle away.
This is supposed to be like a little mini detour to these springs, and it's taken a couple hours already. The road's not super fast, and I'm taking a lot of time getting out and looking at stuff, which is cool, so it's not a big issue, but you gotta get going again.
Regardless of the distance, it seems like a long trek back out to the main roads when you have to go slow over all the bumps and ditches. What may be 10 miles can seem endless compared to a well-graded dirt road.
So many people don't appreciate all the work that graders do in keeping trails open. There's a lot of trail work being done. Like, everybody's like, it's a dirt road, just leave it be. Nobody wants to mess with it or work on them. Like, dirt roads get more work done on them than paved roads. You can pave something once and then ignore it for 5 years. A lot of these dirt roads have to be graded multiple times a year due to washouts and stuff like that. So you see a grader out there like that, he's what's keeping this stuff open. And you have to appreciate that even dirt roads, they have impact, they have maintenance. There's a lot to them, and I think a lot of people think like it's just a dirt road. Nobody's even driven on it since it was first cut in the 1950s. No. Those graders are working all the time. You can pretty much tell any time that a road starts to get too bumpy, or if the washboarding gets really nasty, they might run the grader over it to smooth it back out. Like, you can always tell if a grader's been on a road because it creates these weird trench shapes. If you look at the right and the left-hand side of the dirt road, there's that very distinct edge that the grader kind of cut his way through. And those type of roads are very easy to pass. They're really nice. They're kind of the highways of the backcountry because they're in good condition.
Many people people think that in the desert you can just drive wherever you want, but in reality the desert is incredibly fragile. The plants that you're driving over are already strained just trying to survive in these conditions. Driving over them could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, so always stay on the trail. But this is the whitewashed sand dunes open ride recreation area, where you can truly drive anywhere you want within the bounds of the OHV area. Always be sure to check where you're allowed to drive and stay on the trail when crossing the desert. Many trails are getting closed because too many people abuse the privilege and think that they can just drive down any wash they want, or follow another bad driver's tracks off trail, and now it's leading to trail closures. Always remember to tread lightly and stay on trail.
Parked here eating lunch, light lunch, at the off-road area. I want to take pictures of the trees and the sand dunes here, but there's a storm rolling in. And this isn't just a storm, this is the end of season storm. Up in the mountains on some of the highways it's supposed to turn to snow, and I've got to drive back that way. So I was hoping to get out of here before all that, get some stuff done, but because it took so long going to those springs, we're only a third of the way through this trip. I don't think I got time to walk all the way out there onto the dunes and take pictures. So I think we might continue. There's a few ways we can kind of bug out and get back to the highway early, but I still got to tear down camp and everything. Hope we don't have to cut anything else out. I really want to go see the Pictographs today, but that's a half-mile each way hike, so we'll see. Decided to walk this before I start driving it. This sand dune is blocking my path. There's my exit. And I think I can get around here, but this dune was kind of gave a pretty sharp edge. Parked out here on a little bit of hard spot just because I do not want to bog down in any of this. I'm aired down, so I'm probably fine. Just in case. Maybe at the south end here. See, there's some hard pack under this if we can get around this dune. I see a lot of tire tracks down there. So we come around the south end of this, so no problem. Some little hard spots out here. Maybe aim for those just so it'll be easy. I think I get over this stuff too, but just to be safe. Okay. I think we found our way around the sand dune. I'm gonna venture out. There's some sandy spots, but we're gonna hope that the low tire pressure will help us float and aim for the hard spots. And here we go. Just maintain steady momentum. Cruising along, hitting these hard packs around here. It's amazing what low tire pressure will help with. Come over here, this should be our way out. Hopefully, the trail gets less sandy and more back to just being a trail again.
Love these cottonwoods just barely starting to change. Down in here is Dripping Spring. I think there's supposed to be a cabin down here. Love these cottonwood flood basins. Probably gonna look amazing next week when there's more yellow. Okay, according to the map, there are some old cabins up here ahead, but I'm not seeing much. So the way I thought you could go to get to the cabins, you can't go that way. So we went all the way around into these washes, which were a nightmare to navigate. Look at how, as the water runs down and comes over this, it's been undercutting this rock until the whole thing, the slab just collapsed. So it continues around, slides down there and down to these things. Anyway, I eventually found my way up this side one over here and found this pen. As I was getting partially in, I was like, okay, well, we're getting close. What used to be a cattle pen is probably completely eaten away. There's an old water tank down there. Yeah, I don't think this was here when Halverson was here. And here is the remains of the cabins. Not what I was hoping. Stick to the washes here to minimize impact. Yeah. Old chair with rotting plastic. Old mattress buried in the ground. There's probably the headboard. This is a lot of roofing material. So, check that one off the list is don't need to see. And if you do want to come out here, start way further back, climb up on the sandstone, and loop around, because that was the best way I found.
The landscape of the Moab area is always stunning. It's hard to convey the feeling of what it feels like to drive along the bottom of some of these monolithic rock monuments and mesas. Going on the hike up to Pictograph Rock. Well, there's a storm coming in, and I'm kind of on a hill. There's trees taller than me, but I think there are areas where this kind of stands out. I don't want to get struck by lightning. So we'll see. It's not a motorized vehicle travel. It's a trail, so all the people driving their dirt bikes up here are really f***ing up. This is Pictograph Rock, and I was just noticing some of the rocks down here have this cool iridescence. These are all kinds of Definitely translucent. Yeah, you can see the shadow of my hand through the rock. I don't know enough about geohounding or geology and stuff like that to know exactly what it is. These are, God, they feel like chips that are sharp chips too. Like they were chipped along the edge here to be even more sharp. God, these are like, except for the tip missing here, this could be an arrowhead. I wonder. The fence usually keeps you out from the areas with the Native American protected stuff, so I'm gonna stay on the other side of it, but it usually means there's something hiding somewhere. Oh, there's a way in. I was thinking it was blocking people off, but it's to block cattle. See, you got the fence here. Over here, cattle can't get through this, but humans can stick their legs through without climbing over. Okay. I don't want to damage any artifacts or any burial sites. I think I see something on the underside here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of art under there. Let's see. There, now can you see that? There's little things everywhere, but so hard to get in here. You're actually seeing a better view than I am because I can't lay down on the ground and get the view of the camera. This, I was thinking maybe these aren't Barrier Canyon, but this one kind of gives me that vibe. Same with this. I don't want to risk bumping anything, so I'm gonna crawl out and trust that the camera got it. More stuff that looks painted on but well washed off. Oh, but not this one. We got another Red Warrior type figurine. Does that look like a little hand right there? Little kid hand. Maybe while Dad was painting ones on the other side, Junior was over here making their own. Undisclosed but near Pictograph Rock is this little secret slot that I would like to get into. Here we are within the slot, and looks like there's additional pictographs. We got handprints, definite handprints this time. White handprints from the look of it. The quality is a little washed out. Oh, here's some red handprints. They're so small. What if those are the adults? Some little figurines. Is that a man on a horse? Horned man? Devil on a coyote? Maybe these are bighorn. The style is a little sloppy compared to Barrier Canyon, so I'm not thinking that's what it is. Rainbow here. The slot does get water washing down here and creating this muddy hole. Over here, more handprints, but those look like mud print headprints. I think that might be more recent. That is considered vandalism if you do that, so don't feel like you want to add to these guys' handprints. Now this here, very faint. Looks like a row of stick figures. Very interesting. Not very often you see pictographs in a slot canyon. Oh, that was fun. Got to see some pictographs, a little bit of Native American history. Storm is starting to come upon us. There's no more blue sky left. There's a little bit of a glow in the sky behind me. Don't think there's really any big stops along the way except for maybe stopping at Dubinki well. I wanted to take a picture of the windmill if it's still there. But if it's not, well, we'll see. The logistics. Trying to get out of here, trying to beat the worst of the storm. I just hope it's not snowing up in the mountains when I'm making the drive home. Well, anyway, so far so good. Been a great trip. Got a lot done. Got more that I want to do next time I come up, as always. And yeah, let's see what we can round out the day with.
Merging with 10-mile road now, but we're going to be turning south again and heading back into the backcountry. However, if we went straight here, this is like if you're done with the trip and you don't want to go any further, straight ahead takes you out just south of the airport. I want to head back to my campsite, which is south. I think it'll be quicker if I go through here rather than looping all the way around. As long as this is a good road, I'm pretty sure it is. It looks good so far. Yeah, the other route would be more pavement, but it's about 2 or 3 times longer, but about 3/4 of that is pavement, whereas this is dirt road direct. So hopefully this gets us there. We just maintain this good 30 miles an hour, be home in no time.
Well, this is it, the last stop of the day. This is Dubinki well, Dubinki, which unfortunately lost its veins. They're right here on the ground. That's too bad. I was hoping to get a picture of the cool windmill with some dramatic clouds behind it, but I mean, it's still interesting, but not quite what I was looking for. If you continue along this road south, it'll meet up with the road that the Canyonlands and Dead Horse Point Road, and back to Moab if you're going that way. These veins used to spin to pump water out of the ground and fill up the troughs for the cows out here. Anyways, thanks for coming along. And if you ever come out here, try it yourself. It was a fun trip. It took a little while. There was some bumpy roads, but about 6 or 7 hours, I think we made it. So yeah, thanks again. See you later.